That was pretty amazing. I want to say thank you to everyone for your wonderful generosity. I feel like I'm having a hard time catching my breath after that. But thank you to Jamie. Congratulations to our other honorees, to Aaron and to Mrs. Clinton. And a very, very special thank you to Michael Kors and his whole team for everything that they did tonight to help us do the Golden Heart Award celebration. I have the pleasure of introducing tonight's final award, the Golden Heart Award for Outstanding Volunteerism, to Jeff Gates and Mike Moran. Jeff and Mike, separately and together, have had an enormous impact on God's love. As a volunteer, Mike worked in our kitchen 20 years ago, making sure we got meals to people who were then dying of AIDS. He felt the urgency that all of our volunteers feel when they know that the meal that they are preparing might be the only nutrition that a client gets for the whole day, and perhaps the only visit that they get as well. Mike's compassion took hold, and he kept chopping for many more years. In the mid-90s, Mike assumed a leadership role on our board of directors, where he served for more than 10 years. And after his record of great service to us on the board, he continued in leadership roles, working on our finance committee, the campaign expansion committee, and now the Chairman's Council as well. Jeff soon followed Mike, often reaching out to us and always being available, and very often, for those of you who know Jeff, asking really hard questions to make sure that we were doing things right. He immediately got engaged when we asked him if he would serve as the vice chair of our campaign steering committee. He set up meetings and then facilitated them with the Speaker of the City Council, Chris Quinn, with State Senator Tom Duane, and with a number of other people in the government, so that they could not only understand our project, but eventually we worked with them so that they supported us in getting a really large grant from the city to be able to make it a reality. Some might have said that our launching a capital campaign in the height of the recession was pure folly, but not Mike and Jeff. Together, they made the first significant gift to our campaign, a $1 million gift. And that gift gave everyone the confidence that we could get this building done. We are eternally grateful for their generosity, passion, and leadership. When they are not lending a hand to God's love, Mike is the Chief Financial Officer of the Westside Montessori School, and Jeff is the founder and president of Gates Capital Management. They are also devoted parents of a wonderful and charming 11-year-old son. On a personal note, I want to thank Mike and Jeff for always being there when I've needed their wise counsel and support. And I know that so many of you are here with us tonight join with me in saying that what I value most is their friendship and their deep and unwavering commitment to the success of God's love we deliver. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in awarding the Golden Heart for Outstanding Volunteerism to Jeff Gates and Mike Moran.
Thank you, Karen, for the kind words. You know, I look across this room and I see so much love in this room it might make one actually consider running for president. Michael and I are very thankful to be here tonight among family, friends, and so many generous supporters of God's Love We Deliver. We appreciate this award, and we are very proud to be involved with an organization whose mission is clear, whose management and staff are superb, and whose board and thousands of volunteers are truly committed to evolving with the needs of their nearly 5,000 clients. And as a bonus, we find both the humanitarian case and the business case for God's Love We Deliver very compelling. Sick people fare better with improved nutrition and nourishment, and the expansion plan, because it's based primarily on a volunteer model and not a lot of extra staff, will further lower the cost per meal delivered. In hedge fund terms, if God's Love We Deliver were a stock, we would say that it was a strong buy. Michael has been involved with God's Love We Deliver for nearly 20 years, including volunteering in the kitchen at first, and then more than 10 years as a board member. When Michael left the board, we both agreed to help with the capital campaign in a leadership role. And we would like to thank the people who have helped make the capital campaign successful, including the hard work of fellow campaign volunteers, the generosity of other major donors, and the exceptional responsiveness of our local and state political leadership. Michael and I would also like to acknowledge our parents who are here tonight. We thank you for teaching us the importance of community service, and we hope that we can do as good of a job with our son as you have done with your sons. And now I will turn this over to Michael, the better half of my golden heart.
Thanks. Thanks so much, Jeff. It's really just a pleasure to be up here tonight. And I just have to acknowledge Karen, who is just really the glue that keeps this whole thing together, and just a wonderful, gifted person. Thank you so much, Karen. Oops. Well, I think that for anybody who understands the team aspect of volunteering, it's really, really difficult to accept an award like this, because we all know that there are so many people who do so much for God's Love We Deliver. Many of you are in the room here tonight. Jeff and I would like to call attention to the efforts of the literally thousands of volunteers and supporters over God's Love's over 28-year history who have helped to make all this work possible. 20 years ago, when I first started volunteering at God's Love, there was just a small team of staff and volunteers making a few hundred meals a day in a really, really tiny kitchen. That kitchen was at the American Youth Hostel. Honestly, it was in the basement, it's actually still there. It's at Amsterdam Avenue and West 103rd Street on the Upper West Side. And it just inspires me that from those humble beginnings, we've grown and met very significant needs for those years. At that time, back in the early 90s, for all of us volunteers, the work was very personal. Most of us knew someone who was sick or dying with HIV and AIDS. And we wanted to make a difference in the lives of anyone so desperately ill. Really, really, if you think back to that time, love, good food, care, and comfort were really all we had in the face of what seemed to be a truly untreatable disease. Then as now, God's Love's nourishing food was a powerful manifestation of love that brought nourishment and dignity to people too sick to feed themselves. As just a young man in New York City, inspired by what I saw that God's Love brought a bright spot to their day in this large and sometimes isolating city. As Jeff and my involvement grew, and God's Love was challenged with greater and greater needs, I joined the board of directors in 1996. We had lots of work to do. We had found a new home on Spring Street in 1995, and just 10 years later, in 2005, God's Love expanded our nutritious meals offerings to people with all serious illnesses. By 2009, God's Love had delivered our 10 millionth meal, and by 2011, God's Love was delivering 1 million meals each year. Now, millions of meals later, God's Love has outgrown its home and is raising over $30 million to expand its building to meet our community's needs into the future. Jeff and I were enthusiastic and early supporters of this building expansion project, and we are so very excited that others came after us and gave even more generously. And this generosity provided God's Love enough money to actually break ground on the project about 2 weeks ago, which was a truly moving event. Like anything else, however, God's Love can always use more money for the project. As many of you know who've perhaps have renovated or built something, construction projects are never under budget, so please continue to be generous. Aside from our personal connection to the work of God's Love, Jeff and I have stayed involved for over 20 years because God's Love does such great transformative things. If you give $1 to God's Love, the vast majority of that money goes to provide nourishing food for sick people. In closing, Jeff and I thank you for honoring us with the Golden Heart Award for outstanding volunteerism. Please keep volunteering, and please continue to be generous with your time and resources. Thank you so much for this wonderful award.